Inadequacy is one of the biggest problem that is plaguing the youth of today. Lot of people come to this question that I am inadequate. In this video, I am going to tell you that you are adequate enough. Hey folks, I am CSK and I am your personal coach. You're watching me on the channel CSKSpeaks. Normally, every single time I do this counseling and coaching sessions with parents and students and especially the youth, we come to this particular space where they start feeling self-doubt. And that self-doubt converts itself into self-pity. And the questions are pretty much the same but in different forms, languages and feelings. The one thing which they ask themselves, especially the youth, is I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough and I'm inadequate. And when I go deeper with them, the one thing I realize is this is resulting out of comparisons. I mean, we live in a world, look around us, we live in a world where everybody is showcasing the best part of themselves. And when we are busy watching them, scrolling on the walls of the Facebook or Instagram or the feed, we start developing this question without even our knowledge that what is this? Everybody seems to have the best part of the life, but what about me? Why me? And this question takes us down to the downward spiral. If I have to pause and then talk to you about that is normal. That downward spiral ride is normal because all of us, no matter how much we accomplish, whatever great heights we reach, we still can feel inadequate because there is no end to comparisons, right? But that's not enough because the feeling which keeps popping up in our mind is perennious. It keeps coming again and again, and you need to finally seal it. And to seal it, you need to become aware. As they say, fight a thorn with another thorn. If self-awareness is the key to removing self-doubt, then we need to get into awareness, self-awareness. Now for that, I just have to share with you one simple story from a Japanese boy. And if you listen to this intently, you may not go and do what the boy did, but it will help you fight the battle of life. So the story goes like this. This Japanese boy, he was all committed towards winning the karate championship. In fact, from the age of 11, his single-minded mission was to fight karate and become a national champion. So everything was conducive for him. He had a supporting family, his parents, his father, his mother, everyone were dedicated to supporting him. They knew very early in life that this boy is made for karate and we are going to support him, encourage him. It's like the Karate Kid, all he did was eat, breathe and sleep karate. He also got a good coach, a guru as we call. The coach was also equally committed. He had spotted the talent in this boy. He knew that he had to support him and encourage him and also teach him, and he had the potential in him to go on to become the national champion of Japan when it comes to karate. So everything was going on. He had a routine fixed, he had his diet fixed, and he also had his aim fixed. When all this was going on, one weekend the family decided to take a picnic down to the nearby place. Now when they went on for that picnic, they went on a drive. They had a great time, the family outing, and by the end of the day, they were filled with memories, laughter, and lot of food. When they were coming back, the father was in the driving seat, he was driving the car. Mom was in the co-passenger seat in the front. The kid was in the rear seat. Now when they were coming back, something happened where the father lost control of the car and then he went and rammed into a truck at the turning. And this was kind of a major accident. Thankfully, nobody lost their lives, but the car was completely crushed from the left side. Now, by the time they realized, mom and dad got out of it with little bit of bruises and scratches and all that head spinning, but the boy was lying unconscious on the road. They took him, rushed him to the hospital, and then they gave him the best possible treatment, only to realize that his left hand was completely crushed. The doctors gave the parents one choice. I can save his life by amputing his left hand, and just not up to the forearm but completely up to the shoulder, which means your son will no longer have another hand. He will have to run his life, operate his life with just his right hand. Now, this was a very, very difficult decision to make. Normally, for any parent, this was very easy. Of course, get rid of his hand and let's save his life. But for them, this was difficult because we knew and they knew that he is preparing to be the national karate champion of Japan. But they had no choice. Life always supersedes these things. So they made the call. They said, fine, let's go with it. Then the boy was operated, his hand was amputated, and over a period of next 7 days, the boy regained his consciousness slowly, and then he learned that he has lost his left hand. Now, this was not an easy thing to swallow for the boy and even the family, and now enters the coach. The coach came in to visit the boy. He had learned about this accident, and then when he saw, he was also equally devastated. All those dreams which they had thought of building him into a national champion just quickly vanished into thin air the minute he saw the boy lying in the hospital bed. But coach, being the coach, quickly gathered himself and gave that strength to the family and also to the boy and said, focus on recovering now. Forget about becoming the champion later. But the boy did not really take inspiration from those words. He went into self-doubt. He went into self-pity. He went into asking himself the question, I am inadequate. Then, over a period of 15 days, 1 month, 2 months, and finally 3 months, the coach came back and met the boy. The boy was there in his room, staring outside his window, and he had tears rolling down his cheeks. This was after 3 months. Parents were also devastated. They did not know what to talk to him, how to pep him up, and they were not happy with the routine now which was followed at home. Coach takes leave of the parents after the initial greetings when he visits the house, and then walks himself to the boy's room, sits beside him, and then talks to him. He says, what's happening? Why are you looking out of the window as if the world has come to an end? And the boy replies, of course, my world has come to an end. What do you mean that I should not feel sad? I am inadequate. I wanted to become a national champion, but now here I am without one hand, and how can I even think of playing karate? The coach holds the other hand, the right hand of the kid, and looks straight into his eyes and says, well, you have to trust me. You got to trust yourself. And let me tell you this, you will and you can become the national karate champion. Now, listening to this and the conviction in the eyes of the coach, the boy's energy level started changing. He couldn't believe, but he wanted to believe. He looked at the coach again and said, what, do you really mean that I can now become the karate champion? The coach said, yes, of course, and that's why I am here. Get up, pack your bags, and we are going back to the practice place. The next few weeks, they went on and then they started practicing. The boy was going nowhere. I mean, you can imagine one boy without one hand, how can he even master all those different tricks and techniques which is played in karate? So the coach made him sit down and then spoke to him. He said, look, this does not work. I'm not going to teach you all the tricks in the book as far as karate is concerned, but I'm going to teach you only one trick. If you master the trick, if you believe in yourself, and if you just practice and practice and practice, I promise you that you will become the national karate champion. The boy initially was doubtful, but then he started to give it a shot. They practiced, just one thing. The coach also said one thing: you got to believe in yourself 100%. You got to believe that this trick will work. This trick will make you the champion. So the boy started to believe that this will work, and then slowly he started mastering that technique. Now 2 years from then, 2 years from the accident, 2 years from the time he started to practice, the national championship was announced. The boy went and filled his application along with his coach. When people saw him filling the application and submitting it, all of them couldn't help but get amused at this boy's focus. And what is he trying to do? Look at him. He's here to play karate, and that to compete in a national championship. The boy, of course, felt a little inferior, but the coach was there like rock solid next to him, and then they submitted the application. Finally, the competition arrived, and the boy and the coach and the parents arrived at the stadium. The boy took his stance, and the first round was whistled off. The boy knew only one technique, as we know, so he, without even waiting for a second, blinking an eyelid, went and applied the technique on the opponent. The opponent did not know what hit him, and in just 5 to 6 minutes, the match was over. The match was over, and this boy became the winner. This was just the first round, but this caught the attention of the people in the stadium, and also a lot of press people. A lot of press started giving him front page coverage which says, boy with one hand wins the first round. The second round, same thing. He went ahead with his technique. 5 minutes, match was over. He won, opponent lost. With this, he went into quarterfinals. Quarterfinals, same technique, same game, and he wins. He comes into semi-finals. Now at the semi-finals, he could not believe. He could not believe that he is just one match away from entering the finals of the National Karate Championship of Japan. But then that inadequacy, that self-doubt started slowly creeping in his heart. So he was sitting there and said, okay, so far so good, but will I be able to win over this semi-final match? And I hear about the opponent, he is extremely devastating on the court. Will I be able to face him? He's quite well built, he's quite tall, and I am puny little fellow with one arm. How am I going to do this? That self-doubt put him on the back foot when the match started, the semi-final round. 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, the boy was going nowhere. He was not even attempting that one technique which was taught to him and which he had practiced. The opponent had already scored marks. This is the time the coach realized. He shouted from the back of the stadium, from the audience pool. He said, believe in yourself. Apply that technique which I have taught you, and don't think anything else. The minute he heard that, it was like as if he was woken up from sleep. He came back to senses, and without wasting a minute, he started applying the technique, and in the next 5 minutes, the game was over. But this time, again, the boy with the one hand won the match, and now he is in the final of the National Karate Championship of Japan. Now this caught the attention of the entire country. People were going gaga over this piece of news. The opponent, who was also a finalist, was a monster. He took time, he read all these publicity and news pieces and also the euphorias which is surrounding around this boy with the one hand, and then he decided to make a visit to this boy the previous night, the night before the finals. And when he met him, he said, look little boy, the kind of wonder you have created itself is admirable. I respect you. But let me tell you this, as kind I am today to you, I won't be as kind I am here in the court. I'm going to eat you away. So better give up right now and then turn your back, because you have come to the finals. That itself is a great achievement for your situation. The boy just looked at him silently without giving him any inspiration. He was scared a little because this monster of a man is in front of him, warning him, threatening him, and giving him that last word. The boy said, well, we'll see. I believe in my coach. I believe in my technique. More importantly, I believe in myself. Next day, the final day arrived. The boy and the monster were on the match court and they are ready to go. And as the gunshots were fired, the boy leaped onto the back of the man and applied that technique and brought him down like a pack of cards. 15 minutes later, there was fun and music and dance and celebrations all over the stadium, because history was created in the stadium at Japan, where this kid with just one hand had become the national karate champion of Japan. So after all that euphoria and the medal ceremony and everything, the boy went back to his coach, bent down to him and said, you were right. You told me to believe in myself. You told me that I am adequate, and you told me that this technique is going to make me the national champion, and here I am. I am the national champion of Japan, and this credit will go only to you and to you alone. Because I had given up on myself, my parents had given up on myself, fate had given up on myself, but you did not give up on myself. So the coach said, well, I knew that you are going to become the national karate champion. The passion in your eyes, the fire in your belly, and also the belief in your heart gave me the confidence that you will become, and this day will come. So the boy turns around and says the coach, well, tell me, how did you even think that in one technique I can become the national champion? My parents and I have discussed this many times, but we never had the courage to ask you. Tell me how. So the coach said, funny fellow, the technique what I have taught you is the technique where the opponent has to break you, means he has to catch your left hand. That grasp or the grasp what you put, the lock, if the guy opposite to you has to get rid of that lock, he has to hold your left hand and bend it towards your back. But in your case, you don't have a left hand. If you don't have your left hand, how will he even hold your hand and bend it towards your back so that he can get the lock released? So, never think you are inadequate. Always look at what you have and then look at making the most of it. That was the reply of the coach. Now friends, if you look at this, the story is a fairy tale. But if you bring that tale into our lives, we keep getting these questions in your career choices, in your job, in your life. I am inadequate. I keep comparing with people around me and saying they have this, they have that, they have this, they have that, and I don't have any of that. That's fine. That is true. But you still have something which they don't have. And they are thinking the same thing. He has it, she has it, and I don't have. Now the problem here is, it's not for them to think what you have, it's for you to think what you have, and that's when you will push aside that inadequacy and pump up your adequacy. So, the next time when this question crosses your mind, I am inadequate, stop it right there and tell, I am adequate enough. Thank you very much for watching CSK Speaks. Like and share and comment. Click on that bell icon for getting notifications. Till next time, stay safe, and I'll be back with 2 videos every week, Tuesday mornings and Friday mornings. If you want regular updates, inspiration on careers, finance, entrepreneurship, leadership, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.